And then the question is, who has this tendency?
I don't know what to say to that. I guess, I stand by, or not, I don't stand by my statement. That it's not happening, but I don't know what to say then.
I just tell you, even the sense of no doership, that you are not doing it, it needs one who has that sense of non-doership and defines it as a non-doership and makes a difference between the doership, having and having not interest.
But how can there be a sense of non-doership if there's a sense of it?
Yeah, that's what I mean. If there's a sense of non-doership, it's still a doership. So
yeah, but if I would define non-doership, I would think that you couldn't have a sense of it, that there's non-doership.
Yeah, but people talk about it. There is a non-doership, the sense of I'm not the one who is doing it. Everything happens by itself. That's a sense of non-doership.
Well, I mean, if I could relate maybe a short incident that happened to me, I guess it's the only way I can relate to what you're saying. Something happened in New York a few years ago, and it was a sense of, I mean, there was a waking up and being in a place, and yet it wasn't me. And it was only afterwards, when this incident was over, I related it to someone, and they said to me that I told them about my experience, and the answer was there wasn't an experience because I wasn't really present. So something happened, but there wasn't a sense of non-doership, there wasn't a sense of any of that.
But there was a sense of an absence, which then came back. The sense of a presence of what you call you.
Well, that sense of me wasn't there at the time.
That's what I mean, but who was recognizing that it was not there?
There wasn't any recognition.
That everyone tells me. There was no one, but there was one who was being aware that there is no one.
No.
No?
Yes. Well, that's not the way I recall it.
Yeah. So you make it a fairy tale. Then I was not, and now I'm back. Who makes that fairy tale, that story? There was a time in New York I was not. I had that presence where I was not. And then later on I popped up again. Who has this story?
Well, I had the story afterwards, but there didn't seem to be a story while it was happening.
But who has this no story?
There wasn't anybody who had it.
Yeah, but who has it now?
Well, I do. I'm telling it.
You see?
It turned into an experience.
So you make it again a story.
Well, I don't think it has much to do. The story or the experience doesn't really have anything to do with what happened at the time.
There has to be time that the no time can be.
I don't understand that.
Yeah, but you're talking about the absence of whatever time, separation, and then that there can be the absence of separation. There has to be that.
Karl, your explanation sounds logical to me, but how did Ramana and Nisargadatta rate?
That's a different story. They said they went back to the absolute substratum, and there was an absolute person. They never referred to no one. They went back, they dropped everything what was relative, and that absolute person remained. That what is the self, which is the absolute itself. And you can call it personal or impersonal, doesn't matter, it remains as that. And they never said it's an impersonal experience. There was no one. They never said there is no one. They always said, I'm talking to myself here. The self is absolute, and there's nothing but the self. And there's sometimes an impersonal experience of the self and sometimes a personal, but it doesn't make a difference. That means all of this is the story of the self, and the story of the self has infinite facets of whatever you can imagine. And most of them are personal, some rare ones are impersonal, and even some more rare ones are only awareness, the samadhi. But all of that is experiences of the self, and there is no differences in quality. And that no presence of anyone is not better than the presence of someone. And that was Ramana always referring to. When he was asked, where do you go when you leave this body? Where can I go? I am that. What is this here? Wherever you turn your perception, you will find what I am. Life itself.
That means they refer to that which you signify as that.
To that I am. And not to some absence of one. Because that needs a reference point who makes a difference. It needs a mind who makes a difference from the present and the absence. And that what I talk it is a story of, it's his story, but not your story. And his, I mean God's story. And God is always so, stupid to make it a personal God and an impersonal God. And when he becomes a personal God, he complains. When he's impersonal, he's a holy one. Holy God, holy shit, and shit happens. But all of that is what? His story. Who cares about his story? Only God, knowing himself, cares about his story. But the self never cares about anything. So that's why they call it carelessness. Personal, impersonal, who cares? Presence, absence of the absent, present, blah, 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 blah. Only that little God cares. Because it's his story. So that's why I refer to you as God telling his story. But that what is God has no story to tell. And there's neither impersonal nor personal, whatever you call that, nothing happens. Okay? Hamburg okay? Logical okay? So Ramana is really then you're right, Ramana was 15 sitting down and it happens without any preparation? Or was he prepared to that everything dies around him and he remains at life itself, which never needs to know itself to be itself? So we talked about the pre-sense, not the presence. That's the difference. That what is pre-sense, prior to any sensation of presence or absence, and not of any presence or absence, which is still the presence. Okay, enough abstraction. Yeah, any questions about, or more? Are we finished? No.
Well, I think probably one of the final things about this was that there didn't seem to be any type of change that happened. I mean, it didn't seem to be a switch from, if I can call it a non-presence to a presence again. There didn't seem to be.
No, actually from that presence of that awareness, there was no change. It was uninterrupted. In that presence, there was an I amness experience, and then there came this I am the body again. So nothing changed. Yeah. So you may say that perception in its nature was naked as it was. That referred to this canvas-like. The canvas is always a canvas in spite of that phenomenal experiences of the presence of phenomenal or the absence of phenomenal. The presence of that canvas is uninterrupted. That we can talk about, but that what is the presence, the presence, that is we can only point to. But that is your real nature. So the first purest, whatever, you can say is a canvas. The awareness. And the second would be the space, I amness, oneness. And then the third would be this experience of the body. But by all of that you have nothing to lose or to gain. That I can only point to. As none of that can make you more or less as you are. And that's the main thing. The quality of your nature is independent of any experience at all. Or how you are experiencing yourself. So, and that is like I referring to be what you cannot not be, and that is that. What is beyond all what you can experience. And the first image is I, awareness. The second I amness, and the third the world. This is the Trinity of Shiva, but even the light of Shiva is not Shiva.
Is what? So when you say in the light of Shiva is not Shiva,
No,
so is what?
the light of Shiva is Arunachala, awareness.
Okay.
But Shiva is not the light. Shiva is that what is the light. And Shiva is Shiva with and without light. Shiva doesn't need to be aware to be Shiva, to be Shiva. So Shiva is in spite of the light of Shiva. But there is only light because Shiva is.
Too complicated.
No, it's not complicated, very easy. The sun, what is the sun, doesn't need to shine to be the sun. So the shine of the sun is shining or not shining, that what is the sun is the sun. And the shine of the sun is awareness, the first. So what is the sun? The shine or the sun? Who is shining? What is the nature of the sun? The sunshine or the sun?
Be the sun if it does not shine, because that's what makes it the sun.
Yeah, but the self doesn't need to shine to be the self.
Thank God for that.
But maybe it has to, maybe reality itself has to realize itself, otherwise it would not be reality. Who knows? So maybe even the shine is not different, but it's not the nature. So it's not a question, does it have or doesn't, or is not, is there a need or not, but it happens anyway.
Yeah.
So, what to do? So in that sense, hopelessness is not so bad. Maybe in the Christianity sense, it's like the eye of the needle, it's like the hopelessness, the senselessness of life, or the senselessness of looking for what you are. Who knows? And who needs to know? That's the question. So I have to turn. This is a strange room here. Strange place. Turning room. Lift. I have a left. Yeah. Any questions about that? Paul.
There's consciousness, then there's the canvas-like awareness.
No, there's three, whatever.
What's that?
Consciousness in three ways. You can experience consciousness. It's all consciousness.
So the awareness, what we're aware of, our sense of our perception, in the background, the canvas, and then
Yeah,
that is what we are.
Yeah, that's what is the canvas you are, but you're not the canvas. Because if you would be the canvas, you would not be that what is appearing on the canvas. Then you would still make a difference between what you are and what you are not. And needs one who defines himself. So if you think you are the canvas, you are not what is playing on the canvas. And then you're in trouble again. So you better absolutely don't know yourself. So even to say I am the canvas is one too much who says I am something. It's never good enough. So whatever you say you are, you separate yourself from something else. Any definition, even the purest definition as canvas, is one too much.
Could you say I am that?
It means nothing, but you can say it.
Thank you.
You can say the sun is blue. No one believes you, but who cares? Huh?
That which exists. That which exists.
It's too much. And then you would not be that what doesn't exist.
But I'm not.
What?
That what doesn't.
No, you are even that what doesn't exist. Because your nature doesn't have to exist. Isn't it crazy? You are even that non-beingness. You are the beingness and the non-beingness. So if you say I'm the beingness, you make yourself small again. You are the beingness and the non-beingness. You are the nothing and the everything. Whatever. Yes and no.
So I'm dead also.
You are that what is dead and you are that what is alive. So even that what is dead is life. So that's the nature of the Absolute, which is in no need of anything to be what it is. Raman. Okay, something here.
I noticed that there's only a problem with the speaker when you face towards it. When you talk that way, this speaker is fine.
Ah.
But when you speak, there's something about this.
Yeah, because then it's doubled.
Yeah, something.
Yeah. So I speak to you looking there. Hello, Kevin, how are we? Everything fine, Kevin?
Yeah.
Not so bad today? Okay.
This is really a great new routine with the speaker. Do it everywhere. It's horrible.
Yeah. But it's a good example. If you want to make something better, people complain and then you want to serve them and then it gets worse. But I'd like to be a good boy. I try my best, but I know it's not good enough. Yeah. Any questions in the back? No? But it's a nice breeze today, huh? We can talk, we can chat a bit. As I always do. Yeah, it's always there. It's never good enough or bad enough, it's always different. Very impersonal.
Carl, we're just chatting. You appeared angry a few minutes ago.
I what?
You appeared angry.
I played angry.
You seemed to be angry, yes. Were you angry?
I cannot remember. I have a disorder. I cannot remember. I may have been angry, but it's like the wind. Comes and goes. But you have to remind me, otherwise I forget. Because I really don't care.
So I'll tell you next time.
Okay. I wait for that. Have you seen it? Oh, I can get very quiet, angry. Yeah, drive with me. Especially in Paris, I get very angry.
And is this based on fear?
Of what?
On fear.
On what?
Fear.
What fear?
Well, I said, is this anger based on fear?
I'm not sure. Yes, I fear that I could kill someone. Maybe it's based on fear that I could not control myself and really kill the other one. No, it's really fear. That I cannot control this bastard. Who knows?